Welcome everybody to our coach call. Today is Monday, June 15th, 2015, and I'm excited that we actually have several people from various teams together. It is just so cool just to see us pool our resources and come together. So, if you are here on this call live, I'm thrilled you're here, and if you are watching this video afterward, then thank you so much for taking the time and checking this out. I'm going to just start out with a couple announcements and then introduce our special guest presenter for this evening. For those of you who are on Team Next Level, as well as my team, RIP 411, today is the final date to apply to the Superstar by Summit Bootcamp, which is going to be starting next Monday. And guys, this is just going to be unreal. Just the resources that you're going to get from this. I had the pleasure of being a part of one of the very first Superstar boot camps about 3 years ago, and I came to it from a place of just utter failure. My business was in the crapper. I was feeling terrible about myself. I was literally feeling like a failure, and as I was answering these questions on the form, I was just thinking to myself, oh, no, I hadn't been doing my personal development. Nope, I haven't hit Success Club. Nope, I wasn't doing this right. But for some reason, I just thought, what the hell? I'm just going to put my hat in the ring and see what happens. And I wrote at the end of my application, I promise you won't be sorry if you accept me. And I put my heart and soul into that. And by the end of the boot camp, which was 6 weeks for that boot camp, I tripled my income and went from emerald to diamond. And it opened my eyes to what I should have been doing as a coach all along. I realized how much energy I was putting into just things that didn't matter, things that didn't actually produce results. And it was just a lot of busy work and a lot of frustration. And, I think that's it's a really easy trap that every single one of us can get into, whether it's with our coaching or whether it's with our fitness, spending a lot of time doing things that don't matter, that don't give results. Then we feel like we get burned out. And then that's usually when people quit, right? When they're putting all of this effort in and nothing's coming back. And I had to eat some humble pie, and I had to realize that what I was doing was actually not what I should have been doing, and I needed to learn. I needed to ask questions. So, I highly encourage you to apply if you haven't already. I know I've already received some applications, and it's been awesome to see those. And if you make it, you're going to love it. If you don't make it, then please don't feel disheartened. I will do my best to pass on a lot of the great benefit, but really this is an opportunity for those who are ready to do the work, and for those who are ready to just get past whatever has been challenging them or holding them back, to really make a difference in their lives and in their families, so that they can accomplish these dreams that they've had for themselves. So that's the first announcement. And then the second announcement is for those who are on my team. If you haven't seen already, I have already earned the free cruise for next year. I'm super excited about this, going to Jamaica, to Haiti, and it's just awesome. This past year was my very first Success Club trip to Mexico, and blew me away. It was just a life-changing experience. So the cruise for next year, it's already full. You can't get on. There's a wait list that's thousands of people long. I mean, feel free to apply if you can. But however, I have 2 tickets, and I'm taking one, and there's one that's still available. So I'm running a competition for our team. It's basically all the details are in our team group, but it's basically for those who achieve diamond by October. So you'll be entered into basically a drawing, and the first person who gets to diamond gets the most votes. And so, there's a big incentive to really make a rush to diamond as quickly as you can, so that you can join me with this cruise. It's over $1,500. Like, it's gonna be insane, and it's all free. paid for. So that's the second thing. And then the third and final announcement is Summit is coming up. I cannot wait. I just registered for my track and the workshops and all of the workouts. It's going to be crazy in Nashville. They have almost tripled the number of coaches from last Summit. And if you've been there before, it's going to be a whole new experience, I'm sure. And if you've never been there before, this is one of those watershed experiences that people have. When I talk to coaches, I'm always really interested to know, what was your turning point that took you from this coaching thing that at first kind of felt like a video game to me, like it was all online and there's these like avatars that we're talking to, and really turned it into something that was real. And the more real it became, the bigger my paycheck became. And Summit was, such a huge part of that. So if you're not already registered for Summit, there are still spots. I highly encourage you to do whatever possible to make that happen. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. Those are our announcements. Today we are honored to have our special guest presenter, Chad Taylor-Stoll. Chad is a coach on my team and just an amazing, amazing person with such an incredible heart for people and for helping people and helping his family. So I'm excited that this is also part of developing leadership on our team, as I'm just passing the reins to Chad. So he came up with a topic and put this whole thing together. So Chad, thanks so much for being here, and I'm going to pass it to you.
All right, thank you. As you said, my name is Chad. I became a coach back in October, and when I came in, we were in a pretty rough place financially. We moved to Vermont 3 years ago, and it was a lot more expensive than we were expecting, and we were just trying to start over and start fresh, and it wasn't getting any better. Our finances ended up plummeting pretty drastically. We were saying that we were living paycheck to paycheck is really an understatement, because it was like, how many more things can we possibly cut out of our budget so that we can still pay rent and still eat and still try to have, any kind of future. So when Michael had approached me, I had already done a beach body program years ago, but I didn't have any support or any encouragement, and didn't even know about coaching. So on the one side, I was really excited because I thought that would be a great opportunity, but on the other side, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to eat tomorrow. So having to trust that something like this was going to work, that I was going to be able to make this happen, it was a really scary thing. And so had talked to my husband about it, and he had seen me try so many different things that ended up not ever working out. And so he was like, what, if you're going to do this, you have to be all in. You have to make this work, because the disappointment of having something not work again would really be too much. So after we had talked, I got back to Michael, and I'm like, all right, we're going to do this. We're going to be all in. We're going to make this work, make it happen. And so I got started, I guess, probably within a week of talking to Michael. And I was all excited. I went through all the training. I started with 21 Day Fix and had my shakes. And I went Emerald, I think, in my first month. I was so excited, because the other reason why I had gotten in was because of my sister. That was one of my biggest whys for getting in, because I had been trying to help her for literally years try to lose weight, and was just running into a wall every time. And also, my sister's in Florida, I'm in Vermont, so trying to find something that was going to work having that much of a distance, was also a really big challenge. And I saw Beachbody as being a really great opportunity to be able to make that happen. And so I ended up getting my sister into Beachbody and then also into coaching. And she's been doing an amazing job with it as well. And within 2 or 3 months, she had already lost 30 pounds. And so it was really exciting. And so, I was doing what I was supposed to do. I was working out. I was drinking my shakes. I was, inviting, and I, had started reading my personal development. And it was going great. It was going great for a good few months. I was really excited, and I think they say after the first 3 months is kind of when you're either going to do really well, or that's kind of when you want to kind of stop. If you're not seeing anything happen, that's the easiest time to quit. And for me, I think it was getting a little rough after the first 3 or 4 months, because I wasn't getting anybody into programs. I was getting a lot of money objections, and so I was just getting really frustrated because I was putting out money and I wasn't seeing anything coming back, or I wasn't seeing as much come back as I thought that I was going to. And it was a tough time. It was a rough winter. But really, when I look back at that, and when I look back at where I was in the past 6 months, it really came down to the fact that I wasn't practicing the 3 vitals the way that I should have been. Kind of how Cassie was saying, she was working out like crazy, but her nutrition wasn't on par. You can't get all the results that you want to get if you're not willing to put in and do everything that you need to be doing. So what I'm wanting to talk about tonight is just about consistency and balance. When was it off point, and when was it on point, and how did I make it workable? And so let's look at the 3 vitals. When you start with the personal development, sadly, I have to say that it took me 6 months to complete my first book. There's no reason that it should have taken me 6 months to read my first book. If you're reading 20 minutes a day, you should be flying through books. And when I stopped and realized that it had taken me 6 months, that was really embarrassing. I was like, well, obviously, I'm promoting personal development all the time, but I wasn't reading. I was trying to invest in others when I wasn't investing in myself. And that it's not going to work. You can't give out what you haven't given yourself. And it was, it is very easy for you to put it off until later. But if you do that, later it's not going to show up, because there's always going to be something else that's going to get in the way. And so that was a big struggle, was that, and you're like, oh, well, I'll read tomorrow. I'll read, before I go to bed, or, I'll read on the bus, on my way to work. Something is always going to get in the way. And so I was finding what had become, a big, problem, and trying to catch up was not going to work, because obviously you can't just sit and read for 3 hours. It's got to be something that you're putting in every day. And the second thing was inviting. I know that's always a scary thing, and this is something that are going to hear all the time. But the problem was that I was talking to the same people over and over and over. Your friends and family run out really quick, and if you continue to try to talk to them and try to invite them in to follow up, they're going to either just stop talking to you altogether. Some of them may end up getting in, but you're just going to make yourself crazy. And that's going to be the quickest way for you to just not progress. And so I just kept hoping. I'm like, oh, they're going to join. They're going to join. They're going to do it. They just, they've got to wait until the next, time they get paid, or, they're going to wait until they get done with this or that. And it's not going to work. You've got to get past that initial list of people and start going outside your comfort zone, so that you can reach, the people that really do need your help, the people that really want to get in. And so that was something that was one that was scary, because I didn't know what I was going to say, and I didn't know who I was going to reach. And two, it was just really easy to make excuses and be like, well, I work all day long. I'm in Vermont and nobody wants help. So what am I supposed to do? And yeah, I was finding a lot of excuses, as to why this was not going to happen, why I wasn't able to, to make this, progress any, farther, but I was just making excuses. Um, and recently Josh had his call broke to seven figures, which was a phenomenal call. If you have not listened to it, you need to go find it. It was huge, and I feel like it was really a game changer for me. It was nothing that I had not already heard. It wasn't anything that all the coaches haven't already said. But sometimes it's just a matter of hearing it that one more time that kind of just hits you. Um, and he said that recruiting is a numbers game. You're going to talk to 1,000 people. Of those 1,000 people, 100 of them will be customers, 10 of them will end up being coaches, and one of them will end up being diamond. So, on the one side of it, it really just comes down to the numbers. You've got to be talking to people all the time. And another thing that he had mentioned was that you just have to use a platform that you're comfortable with. Talking to people can be scary, inviting can be scary. You got to just push yourself a little bit farther, but figure out what platform works for you. If it's talking to people in the grocery store, then get to the grocery store every day, even if you don't need anything, and just start talking. If it's going on Facebook, then go on Facebook. We are all on Facebook all the time, so that really shouldn't be an issue. Or if it's Twitter, or if it's Instagram, whatever your platform is that you're comfortable, just go do it. Because it is going to come down to the numbers. So I just had to get real about it, and I was like, you know what? My platform is Facebook. I'm on it all the time. I'm on it a lot for work, so it just made sense that would be that would be the platform that I would need to work from. So it literally was just a matter of finding my niche market, figure out who I want to reach out to, and I literally just started sending out friend requests, 20 to 30 people every day. I started doing that 2 weeks ago. I have 200 new friends as of today from the point that I started that, because I was inviting 20 to 30 people every day that fit into the market that I was trying to reach. And of those 200, 20 conversations have already started. And it wasn't conversations that I started. I just sent out the request and they're contacting me. And I already have several people that want to talk about fitness. So again, it's just about the numbers. Just send out the request, or figure out how you need to reach them, and do it every day, and it's going to end up coming back. So that was really huge. I did not realize how easy it was, and it seems like it's scary, but it's really not. You just have to figure out what you're comfortable with, and then just go do it. And then the third thing is, being proof that the product works. I was doing it great at the beginning. Then I found a lot of excuses why we couldn't afford it. We were in a really tough spot. We were filing for bankruptcy. I mean, I could give you every excuse, but the fact was I was getting frustrated that people were giving me excuses for why they weren't buying programs and why they weren't buying shakes when I wasn't doing it myself. And if you're going to lead by example, then lead by example, and be doing the workouts, be drinking the shakes, realize the benefit that you're getting, and then pass that on to others. And that was just a big thing for me, because I was frustrated that I wasn't, because in the beginning my shakes were paying for themselves, but then as I was getting frustrated because I wasn't inviting and reaching out beyond my family and friends, my shakes were then not being covered, and then it's like, well, I don't know, I can't really afford it, when you can always find a way to make that happen. And if I had been following the 3 vitals, I feel like I would have been able to do that so much easier. And so we ended up going without Shakeology for a couple months. You don't want to know how awful my household was for those 2 months. It was not fun. We were cranky. We would snap at each other, and we just did not have the energy that we were having when we were drinking shakes. It was not fun. It was just because, and it also just, it allowed in the opportunity to then want to go out to eat, or to want to indulge in a snack. It's crazy, because we say that Shakeology curbs your appetite, or like it curbs like your cravings. It's so true, there were so many things we should not have eaten in those 2 months that if we had just gotten the shakes, we would have been so much better off. So we're telling people all this stuff, but if you're not living it, you tend to forget it. And so that was just a really big thing, was that we were just getting really frustrated, but we weren't following what we were saying. So for me, making all these things workable, again, it was all about the schedule and all about being organized. And so I don't know if you will be able to see this, but setting alarms was what worked for me. Like just literally getting on your phone and setting all of your alarms. I have an alarm for my personal development, alarm for my workout and Shakeology, alarm for my power hour, and then also one for when I turn off technology. Because again, it's also about balance. When you work from home, when you're building this business, it's very easy to work 24/7. But if you don't clock out, then you're not going to be spending time with your family or your friends or having any time to recharge. You have to have an end time each day that you stop. That the same way you go to work, clock in, clock out. You've got to do it for this as well, because that was also something that I was finding difficult, was stopping conversations. If you can't turn it off, you need to walk away from it so that you can give your family appropriate time. And again, if you have scheduled times, people are going to value that so much more. If you're available 24/7, they're going to think that they can get you anytime that they want. But if you have certain blocks of time, then they're going to really appreciate that so much more. So for me, it was just all about getting organized, having alarms set so that when the alarm went off, even if it's become habit, having that alarm still reminded me, oh, you know what, it's time to take care of me so that I can take care of others. And so that has been a really huge thing. So now it won't take me 6 months to get through a book. I should be getting through several books each month, so that I have that information and that wealth of knowledge that I can share with others and be that positive influence that I want to be. And then even like beyond that, as far as like getting organized with inviting, something that I did with that too, just because it can get a little overwhelming if you are inviting that many people every day, is I added a tab on my Facebook where you can add lists for your friends. So I just added it, it's called added friends. And so when I send out those 20 requests, I go ahead and I add them to that folder. So that way, one, I know everyone that I've added. And then that way, too, I can go in and I can click on that tab and I can start liking and commenting on their newsfeed. So that way in my power hour, I'm not wasting time just streaming through all that, all the newsfeed. I'm blocking in that time, and that way I'm kind of making the most of it. So that way I can kind of keep engaging with those people. So that way, if that conversation turns to them being a prospect, then I can just change that tab and add them to the prospect one. So that way I'm kind of just cycling them through, until they either become a customer or a coach, or whether they just remain a good friend that I now have. And so that was a big thing for me as well. And then I've been using Asana as well, which, if you're not familiar with that, it's a fantastic way to stay organized. So that way I can kind of just take them from Facebook and then just move them right over to Asana, so I can keep track of the conversations we've had. If they have goals, if they have restrictions, that way I know what's going on within my business, and my power hour stays very effective. Yeah, and then I think that was it. And then just from there, making sure that you maintain that balance, between work and your home life. So yeah, it's made a huge, it's been big. So, and I'm super excited now, implementing the 3 vitals every day, and it's already made such a impact. So I'm definitely excited to see how quickly I can get to Diamond now. That's all I got.
I felt like we were drinking out of a fire hose. That's some good stuff. Um, we can do some conversation Q&A and kind of reflection about that. But Chad, I'm just so I relate to what you said so much. Such good stuff. I know throughout my coaching journey that there were times when I just felt like I was juggling 3 balls, but always dropping one. And like I get my workouts in, I'd be really good with that. And then I'd do my invitations, but I wasn't doing my personal development. And it was like I could get 2, but I couldn't get 3 for the longest time, and they kind of rotate in and out. And when I wasn't thinking about it, I just felt like, well, this is such a mystery. Why isn't this working? And it's so simple. It really just comes down to getting all 3 of those balls going. And just like you said, the trick to doing that is just being really intentional about scheduling and organized and keeping them in balance. And we tell our customers this all the time. When they first start a workout program, like probably most of us did before Beachbody, we wanted to do like day 1, a 3-hour workout and like kill our bodies and then be shot. So like, why do we do that with coaching? Why do we say, okay, I'm going to get this coaching thing going and I'm going to invite 400 people today? And then we wonder why we get burned out and why we can't keep up with the conversations. And it's all about balance. So I really resonate with what you said.
Chad, how does it usually happen that one of your new added friends becomes a prospect? Is that when they start asking you about fitness, or in other words, when do you know that it's time to reclassify that person as a prospect?
Well, I mean, at the point that they send me a message, it's all about starting, to form that relationship, and just kind of leading the conversation, but building that relationship first, so that you know what their need is. So just kind of starting that conversation out, and then as you start to build it, then you kind of if they haven't already led to that, then just kind of slowly encouraging that, kind of heading in that direction. But I mean, that's why, I mean, it's worked out for me that they have either gone through my feed or like my timeline, or that they've seen that I'm a coach, that they end up coming to me first. So they kind of end up leading it in that direction without me even having to. Because again, I don't want to push it. I don't want to push that too soon, because then it will kind of seem like the only reason that I requested them was because I wanted to get them into fitness. So I don't go out of my way to head in that direction before I feel that it's appropriate. So I just kind of each conversation is going to be different, kind of depending on what their need is. So I kind of just have to gauge it. So, and I mean, it's been funny that of the 20 conversations that I have had, they've all come to me, and it hasn't necessarily been about fitness, but just kind of starting to build that relationship. So, as I build that trust, then I can kind of work through the 5 questions and kind of just see where they're at with that. If I feel that it's kind of gone long enough that we've kind of gotten through all the initial things. So, and yeah, and then of those, I've gotten at least 3 that I'm supposed to talk to this week about fitness. So
great.
Yeah, and I've been. We talked a lot about the kind of 3 ways that we connect with people. Either they come to us, or we put a big broadcast out and like ask, hey, people, like this, if you want to be part of a fitness challenge or clean eating group, or you go out to them, kind of the hunter, trapper, fisher model. And I think that at different parts in a coach's journey, different models make more sense. Like when your results are kicking and like it's really clear and obvious that you've gotten amazing results. That tends to be when people come to you and they're asking like, "Hey, why are you so amazing?" But then there are also times, probably even more in the beginning when it makes more sense to be more proactive. And I did modify our team training a little bit to include some of the information that Jonathan Schlinger had a couple weeks ago on our coach call, just to kind of beef up that hunter part, where, how do you take a conversation that's about something, anything else, and how do you maneuver that into a conversation about fitness to try to figure out what their needs are. And there's this magical phrase, after the conversation just kind of dies down a little bit, you just tack on, "By the way, I've been meaning to ask you, I'm doing a fitness challenge pretty soon. Are you interested?" That's it. And then from there on, depending on what their answer is, usually people are like, "Sure, tell me what it's about," or from there on, that's when you can launch into the 5 questions or Jonathan's method. But making that little shift right there sometimes does take being proactive. And I think if you're kind of worried about coming across as salesy, then you will. But if you really understand what you're doing is you're trying to understand other people's needs and like, what do they want? And then you give it to them, then it comes across really genuine. And, it is, that's what we're doing. And just, keep asking questions and just keep really being interested rather than interesting. So even though I do have a lot of people coming to me, I've been doing a little bit more hunting over the past few weeks, just because I think it's really important for all coaches to have that in their back pocket, not only for myself, but as well to teach the rest of my team, for those of us who are in different areas before people are really coming to you.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Chad, thank you for that. I'm not sure like what your typical brand or market is, but usually I have a lot of young women that look up to me. And with the whole unique rap, it works, all that stuff, women get so frustrated with all these groups that I think that they're afraid that I would be salesy, so I have to do more of the hunting and gathering. Like, people don't come to me as much. Yeah. One thing I found that works really well is the voice chat feature on Facebook, because they get to hear your enthusiasm and your passion and just who you really are. So a lot of times I'll just send a voice chat to some girls and I'll say, "Hey, I'm driving. I can't text right now, but I just wanted to let you know that I was thinking about you, and I know you had court today for your divorce," obviously relating to them because of what I went through. "And just let me know how you're doing." And I've had girls come back to me, say that my message brought them to tears and that they couldn't believe that I was thinking of them when their own friends didn't ask them how their day was about it. So that voice feature is kick-ass.
That's awesome. Yeah, I totally forgot about that, but yeah, I think that would really be huge. I mean, especially since so much of us are doing things online, just to hear that voice, I think is amazing.
And nobody does that. You're gonna stand out.
Exactly.
I may look like a creeper, but it works because every time I've used that voice chat for my challenge groups, I have not gotten a no. I either get I'm really, really excited, I'm going to save up for it, or like, I'll let you know within 2 weeks. Like, it's always a maybe or a yes. It's never a no anymore.
That's awesome.
Because I actually describe the containers, like for the 21-day fix, and I describe the workouts, and if you're visual, that works, or audio, like you learn a lot more from the voice.
That's a really good tip. I'm curious to know from Peter, Adam, Dana, how has it been with you with just the balance of it all, the balance of coaching and balance with life? Is that easy for you? Is that hard?
Oh, for me, it's been a challenge. I started out kind of gung ho, and I kind of lost my mojo. I think probably you guys know what I mean as far as that goes. I'm like, I did Success Club like 3 months in a row, and then it kind of just was like, nothing. Right now I have a challenge group with another girl, and we have 55 challengers in the group, which I think is, pretty good. And they're working the group. I'm working the group. We're getting results. But as far as doing the 3, someone help me out. The vital behaviors. It's been a long night already. I have not been doing that, and I need to be doing that. So it's cool being on this call tonight and having that reiterated to me. And, Summit's coming up, and it'll be my first summit. So I'm really excited to be inspired by that. So.
Awesome.
Right on.
I guess with me, about 2 weeks ago, I kind of hit, I don't know, maybe a breakthrough or what. I don't know what you call it, but I've been doing something that's been kicking ass. I just been inviting like 40 people every single day for like the last 2 weeks. Just not really, I guess you would call it like cold call, but we're all in the same groups together, and I'm just going down the list of just, friend requesting like 40 people every single day, and it only takes me like 5 minutes. So it's like right when I wake up in the morning, I just down the line, 40 people, stop, and I swear by 2 hours into my day, I've got 20 messages, 15, 20 messages. It's either a, hey, do I know you, or something like that, but, it's a conversation starter. And right away, I'm like, oh, no, we don't know each other, but we're in this group together. How you doing? And they're just like, fine, great, doing awesome. How you doing, And I've probably gotten about 400 new friends in the last 2 weeks.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's just been kicking ass. If like any people that are struggling or new coaches out there, just try it. Get in some groups that you're in, and don't be scared. Just go into the member section and just start friend requesting people. Set yourself a number, 5, 10, 15, 20, whatever it is, and just go down the line. And then if they don't send you a message, as soon as they accept your friend request, I've just got a real genuine cookie cutter copy and paste message that just sounds real genuine, and I just post it. And I just say like, hey bro, thanks for the ad. We're in the same muscle car group or whatever it is. You got any cars or something like that? Just something related to the group so they don't creep out like, who are you? And I swear, I'm just getting awesome results from it. I swear I'm in like 60 conversations right now. And it's something that I've never done. My Facebook Messenger is just, wow. I've got to scroll and scroll and scroll to find the people that I'm talking to. It's pretty awesome.
Wow. That brought up a question for me, and that is I've not done that because I was always afraid that there was like a limit of number of friend requests that you could give before Facebook is like going to put you in jail. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know. I do 40. That was my number. I started off at doing 10, and I thought, well, 10's not enough because at 10 I would get maybe one person would message me, and then I would message all 9 of the rest of the people, and maybe 4 would message back. So I went to 15, went to 20, and I'm doing 40, and I don't know. Sometimes you'll go down the line and you'll friend request them, and then Facebook will send you a message saying, because of their settings, it'll say something like, do you know this person? Do you make sure you know them before you friend request or something like that? And it'll tell you to message them first and ask them to friend request you. So I just, obviously you skip that person. You just go down the line. I know it kind of seems like a cold-hearted way to do it, but I mean, it's not real genuine at first, but you make the genuineness, I guess. You start the conversation and you take it where you need it to go. And out of those at least 60 conversations, I've got at least 15 or 18 people already talking about fitness in 2 weeks. So
when they
we'll see.
Post about your results and what you're doing, it's just a natural thing to ask you about it.
Yeah, but it's just really, I mean, it's something I recommend everybody do. I mean, that might not be your thing, but then that's a good thing, because then that's stepping out of your comfort zone. I struggled a lot with that. I mean, big time comfort zone, stay inside the circle guy right here. So anything that pushes me outside of it is just awesome. And it actually feels refreshing to just talk to a bunch of strangers. Someone who doesn't know me, who's not a friend of a friend, stuff like that. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and it's crazy because people crave relationships. They crave that contact. So it was scary as it was to get started. I've had some of the best conversations by doing that. And like you said, with complete strangers.
Yeah.
It's crazy how amazing those conversations can be. So, I mean, yeah, it was a little, scary at first, but now I'm so pumped to have them that, I kind of want to just keep increasing the number of, people that I'm requesting to kind of get those amazing conversations.
I feel the same way.
Yeah,
I feel the same exact way.
Yeah, if they want help, they're gonna, they are gonna appreciate the fact that you reached out.
Well, then there's no ties to you. They don't know you. They don't know anything about you, and it's like, I wouldn't say that you lie to your friends or your family, but I think it's just easier to be yourself with someone who has no ties to your history and don't know anything about you. You can just be 100% honest, and they can't call you out on anything, or, I mean, not that there's anything to call out, but you know what I mean? It just, to me, it feels more comfortable talking to strangers. It really does. And I've just been really, really pressing hard. I mean, I'm going on, I think tomorrow will be my 2-week mark that I've done this, and it's awesome, and I recommend it for every single person. And I'm talking to you, Peter. Yeah, you, bedroom, you.
Peter, you do this too? How are you with expanding your circle and talking to new people?
I talk to new people all the time. Probably not as much as Adam, but I recently started doing a motivation to go, and it was kind of based off of, I threw an idea out to Michael for the Monday Mojo name, and mine was motivation to go. Well, he didn't pick it, so I used it. So I was like, okay, I'll use it for my motivation to go. And so I've been doing it almost every day. I think there's only a few days I've actually missed, but I've actually started some awesome conversations with people when they like or comment on one of them, especially if it's related more to fitness and my fitness. So I'm in conversations with a few people now that I'm going through, the steps that Jonathan gave to us a couple weeks ago. So a lot of it's in process, but Sunday was actually out of the blue. My friend Sharon's like, I just need to do something, and I just need to do what you're doing. Oh, okay. I ain't planning on that conversation at all, but she's known me forever, and so it was just like, all right, here you go. We'll sitting at the restaurant table. I'm like, all right, so what do you want to do? You want to do the same thing I am? Okay, right there. What do you like to drink? Strawberry, vanilla, chocolate? You want vegan? She's like, no, vanilla. Okay, right. All right, sent it to you. There you go. So, and she was like, when do you need me to do this by? I was like, tonight?
Ow!
Well, she was at the restaurant, so she didn't want to do it there. So, and it was one of those things. I think she needed to go home and clear it with her hubby too. So, who wasn't there. So,
Yeah.
but it went pretty well. So,
Yeah.
he did it that night. So, and then I got, talked to my other friend, and he's like, okay, I'll do it in the morning because I'm still at work. And so, send me a text in the morning and remind me. So, like, and reply back, done. All right, sweet. So, yeah,
Pretty awesome, Peter. Pretty awesome.
a fun time balancing, all three balls per se, or juggling. So, but I'm getting better. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Well, now that you signed up 2 coaches in 2 days, is freaking awesome. I mean, that's just really a sign that you found a boundary that you were being held into and you stepped over it. Like that's just what happens when you get out of that comfort zone. And so I think that's awesome. And what we are here to do, and like on this coach call, is we're like trying to get our private eye detective magnifying glasses out and try to look for places that we have boundaries and we have comfort zones that we're not even aware of. It's like there are things that we don't know that we don't know. And as Adam, what you just shared, and Chad and Cassie and what you're sharing, just helps all of us to realize, like, oh, I didn't even know that I had that little comfort zone that was holding me in. So now I can try, friending more people. I can expand who I'm talking to. I can share more honestly. That's like the benefit of what we're doing. So keep going.
Yeah. I found one thing that I think it's true is that people, when you're talking to them, they like to answer questions. They actually like when you ask them questions, because most people are shy. Most people are just kind of reserved and just on Facebook doing their thing. And when someone pops up and starts asking all these questions, sometimes people, they just like that. They like to answer them. They like to talk about themselves, of course. So it's just questions, man. You just ask and ask and ask and ask over and over and over, and they'll just keep answering them. So I don't know. They just like it. They like to answer questions.
Yep, absolutely. So we're coming to our time in a couple minutes. Is there anybody, any other burning thoughts or questions? This has been an awesome call, by the way.
I got a question for you, Chad. When you said that you were putting people in that category right when you friend requested them, are you able to do that when you friend request them, or?
Yeah, you are.
So before they even accept, you can put them in a category?
Yeah, like literally as soon as you request them, you can go back and just that drop-down box where it says, sending that request, you can immediately stick them right into the category.
Oh, that's huge for me right there. That's cool. I didn't know you could do that.
It's amazing. So that way, you don't have to wait on them to accept it. They'll already be in that list.
And then as soon as they accept it, they're in that list already, so you know who they are in case a couple of weeks goes by.
Exactly. So that way, you're like, oh, did I send that to them? Did they send it to me? Yeah. So that way, you'll always stay on top of it.
That's big. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, great tip.
Do you guys have a lot of people friend requesting you?
Not right now.
From overseas, I do. Which does me no good.
At that.
Real popular.
80.
Yeah.
I get a few. I mean, I get probably in 1 week, I'll probably get 15 or 20 in a week's time.
Okay, that's quite a bit.
That's good.
Yeah.
I just get creepy men.
Right.
As do most women.
Cassie, I'll try not to friend request you next time.
You're cute. I would have accepted if you're like 65 years old and you could be my dad's age. Like, no, we don't need to be friends.
Yes. There's something to be said for only accepting people that are in your niche.
What about you, Michael? How many do you get? A lot of friend requests?
I do. I get. I don't know. It's
What
about
happens when you're hot, man?
Take it off. Take it off.
what? I'm very shocked.
Whatever.
You guys didn't know he was Brad Pitt's understudy.
Right.
He's going for Troy too.
Most of them are coming from Instagram.
Oh, cool.
How's that Instagram working lately?
It's great. It's great.
Are you doing a lot of private messaging in Instagram, or is it just conversations through pictures?
I do use the direct message feature, but honestly, most of them are started with me. Like they ask me a question, and they'll submit, what are you doing for your workouts or stuff like that.
And you just keep the conversation usually in so everybody else can see it?
Well, that's through direct message.
Oh, they direct message you?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. However, if people do start the conversation within the comments where it is public, I have been actually doing the conversation right there in the comments. So I'm, once we get to like phone numbers and stuff, we do that through direct message.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool.
Instagram
Good
is
info.
playground that you can friend up to 50 people in 5 minutes.
Yep.
And people don't think it's weird if you're constantly posting selfies and if you're taking workout pics all the time and talking about fitness all the time. Like that's whereas on Facebook you can't do that.
Oh, Instagram is the vainer the better.
Yeah.
All about you.
It's perfect.
Pete's probably on Instagram right now. But it makes sense. Like the whole idea of selfies on Facebook, it's powerful. But on Instagram, as you're scrolling through the newsfeed, and if I take a picture of like a glass of water, it's much harder for people to know that that's from me, from my account. Profile pictures are so small if we're on mobile devices. So if you have a face in your picture, then they're like, oh, it's my friend Dana. Of course I'm going to like her picture.
Yeah.
And I'm convinced people, they just like the picture just because they like you. Not all because they like the picture, but it's like,
right.
I think she's so cool, so I'm just going to like everything of hers.
Yeah. It's a younger audience, I think, too.
Yeah, I find with Instagram when you start adding new people on, I'll get people, man, they'll just come through and they'll seriously like every single one of my pictures in like 2 minutes. I don't know if it's creepy or not, but it's cool, but it's kind of creepy. It's like the same person's name, just a huge list of everything you've ever done.
That's what I'm going to do when I get off this call. I'm going to find you all and like all your stuff.
Hey, not to plug my own thing, but I've actually got an Instagram training if you guys, I can send it to you guys if you want.
Yeah, I'd like that.
It's more of a basic training that I created just for people who are fresh out of the gate and have no idea how to use Instagram for coaching, but I can post it.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a few really good Instagram trainings. I went through Jonathan Schlenger's program as well. He's got some stuff on his YouTube account. Just search YouTube. And then we did a team call back in November or December that was like the big bang of all of this.
Oh yeah, like I always say, that's the one that started me on mine. So that call.
Yeah, and I've seen yours as well, Adam. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just saw you tagged us, which is awesome.
I did. Yeah.
real quick, I'm curious to know what everybody's doing for their personal development. I know, Cassie, you said that you're doing manifesto.
Still on it.
Oh, okay, nice. Oh, shoot. Wait, my book. Oh, here's my book.
Nice.
Here.
What is that? The Motivation Manifesto? I'm actually in the middle of 2 right now, practicing the power of now, Eckhart Tolle, and I'm actually reading The Compound Effect again in a group setting.
Dana, if you ever get a chance, you should listen. You should buy the version where Darren Hardy audio does it, because man, he throws so much more in there than the book. It's unbelievable.
Well, I have it. I've listened to it on audio. I've read the book, and I'm going through the book again and doing worksheets with a group. So it's like I just need it cemented.
Yeah, that's the first.
It's pretty common sense, but it's such a great basis. Oh, I've read that one too.
You Are a Badass.
That's a great one. The Badass, yeah.
That one and 52 Ways to Live a Kick-Ass Life.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't read that
Yeah,
one.
I got a good one. Check this one out. This is an older book, but it's not really personal development. But check this out. It's a really
The
good
Magic of Thinking Big. Yeah, that's a good one. Healing Foods.
Yep.
Yeah, it's an older book, but it's really, really good.
I'm reading these too because a lot of people don't realize that they're binge eating. They just think that they like food. So this is called Brain on the Binge. It's how we think about food and how we can stop our reactions to just grabbing every little thing and overeating. And then this one, Food, the Good Girl's Drug. Really, really good stuff.
Wow.
Because it's all mental. It really is.
Awesome.
That's great.
Yeah, eating stuff that is personally applies to attraction as well. That's awesome. Cool.
Very awesome.
Cool. By the way, in our RIP 411 coaches group, in the file section, I've got a document with some of my favorite personal development books. And if anybody else wants to add their best books that they love, feel free to add to that list. It's open. Kind of a nice resource. It's actually in our coach group, our own team group. So I think it's also a really great resource, especially as new coaches are coming on and they're like, well, what do I do? What are the best books? Where should I go? So we can use that as a resource. By the way, as people are bringing on new coaches, we need to make sure that they are supported and that they are connected and know what to do. That would actually be another really great coach call. Maybe we'll do that next week. Like the whole onboarding process. Would anybody else like to talk about that?
Definitely.
It looks like our teams are kind of growing right now with a lot of new people. So I know that's something that I've experimented with a lot of different things, and I've kind of settled on something that's a little bit more systematic now. And it's just a matter of what I need to do better is like hand-holding people to go through some of those steps. So the system's there. But I would love to talk about that with you guys, for our next coach call or something in the future if that's something you'd be interested in as well. But just so everybody knows, for our team, if you go to ripped411.com/ready, /set/go. That's our team training. And in the third page, web411.com/go, that actually shows the script that I use to welcome new coaches and the step-by-step instructions about what groups to add them to and what to tell them, and then how to help them understand what their coach account is. And that's that can apply to people who are working the business as well as preferred customer/discount coaches. Because you never know if they're talking to them about what they're doing, and their friend is like, oh cool, I want to do that too. And if they don't know they have a coach account that their friend can get it through them, then they're going to go to Amazon or wherever. So it's not something that I can put a lot of pressure on everybody if they're kind of in for the discount. But I think it's important that they at least know kind of the basics that, hey, this is an option, this is available, regardless of whether you put a lot of energy into it or not. So check that out if you've not already. And but I would love to talk about that whole process with everybody in the near future. Cool. All right. I think we had an awesome coach call. Thank you for joining. And Cassie and Adam and Dana, you guys are always welcome. We do this every Monday night at this time. And, I'll be putting the invitation out. So, if you guys are free, I just love having your input. And I love having your
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Very
definitely.
generous.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited. I'll definitely join more.
Cool.
Well, I think it's awesome. It serves a purpose for coaches like myself who don't have that big of a team. It helps us start the process,
Mm-hmm.
so that when we get a bigger team, we can start doing our own calls. It helps me a lot. I like the calls.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
I love it too. I'll post the YouTube in a bunch of groups, so you'll be able to find it.
Great.
And you can pass it on to the team.
What track are you guys doing for Summit again?
Silver Hall D.
Yeah!
I'm Blue Hall D.
Oh, Michael.
There's a lot of Blue Hall Ds I've seen. A lot
I
of them.
just followed Pete's lead.
We are too.
He was
Yeah,
Blue
us
Hall.
too.
David, what are you?
Same. I saw you guys in the morning, and I signed up right after that. So yeah, we're in the same hall. Yeah, hall, whatever that is, D. Yeah.
Chad?
I'm going to be in a moving truck during Summit, so I'm not able to go.
Darn it.
It's like the week that we're moving is when Summit is. So it's
What a weenie. That's a cop-out.
Move that moving.
Move the moving.
Take the moving truck to Summit and have a back party in the back of the truck.
I promise
can get in the
it's
truck.
worth it. Let's use some peer pressure. Well, we can talk about that later. All right, guys, I'm going to head out.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.